We begin our practice by uh, just sitting still for a bit, so we can start now. Find your comfortable seated pose. If you want something soft under your body, you can take a pillow or a block and sit on that. And we'll hang out here for a few minutes. So get settled, get comfortable. Allow the hips to sink down towards the ground. We like to feel through these hips a certain connection with the earth. Feel that connection to what sustains you. The earth is the source of our nourishment. Everything that we eat comes from the earth. The air that we breathe is part of the earth. The life that we have is sustained by the earth. Take as much time as you need to grow silent and still. You may rest your hands on top of your thighs. Your palms can face up or down. And let the spine be tall and long. Imagine that you're trying to make your spine a little taller. Imagine that you're trying to bring the top of your head up closer to the ceiling. We allow our bodies to grow silent. We allow stillness to come over us. And may this stillness bring about a deeper awareness of ourselves, of our bodies, of what's going on inside of us. Take some time to ask yourself how you are today. Notice whatever sensations you feel in your body, in your skin, in your muscles. Notice the sensation the act of breathing creates. And as time passes, as you continue to sit still, go deeper within yourself to how you're feeling today emotionally. Notice whatever thoughts are coming up right now. Acknowledge any emotions that you may be feeling. For the practice of yoga always begins right here, right now, right where you are, and with who you are at this moment. With this awareness, with this self-awareness, with this connection to the earth, may we truly feel ourselves as part of the earth that is waking in consciousness. Stay here for a little bit longer. Just keep breathing. Stay still. Press our palms together. Let the thumbs touch the heart. Whenever you are ready, you may open your eyes. And we begin by bowing and greeting each other. Namaste. Right. So we have our props ready, hopefully. So to repeat, get a couple of pillows, or maybe a book, a couple of books, a block, and we'll get into our first pose. Let's come into our hands and knees. Bring the knees away from each other. See that from the side. And with the big toes touching behind you. Sit back. Let the hips sink down towards the heels. Keep the spine and the torso vertical. And check in first with yourself how this pose feels right here. I forgot to mention earlier that in our yin poses, we will be holding them for quite a bit, maybe a couple of minutes or 3 minutes. And so find a pose or find a position for yourself wherein you can sustain for a few minutes. So if the knees or ankles bother you in this pose, try to create a cushion maybe under the ankles. You can put a pillow there or put an extra mat under the ankles or under the knees. Or I like to um, make the sensations a little milder by putting a cushion between my heels and my hips. Stay here for a bit and notice that even with that cushion between the hips and the heels, you still feel the hips sinking and pressing down. Set our timers. And find stillness again in this position. I will shift now to face you. And while you're here, notice the sensations that this creates in the body. In the yin practice, sensations are what we're after. So once you settle in and find stillness in the pose, all you have to do now is relax and gravity will take care of the rest. Scan your body, check that your muscles are relaxed, the hips and buttocks and thighs are soft and not tensing up, the shoulders are soft and sinking away from the ears and not shrugging up alongside the ears. Arms are soft and just hanging from the shoulders. Breathe here. Breathing in slowly, taking in the air a little bit at a time. And breathing out slowly, releasing the air out a little bit at a time. Find stillness. Stay in that stillness for the duration of the pose. So these are the three elements of the yin practice: that stillness, that softness and relaxation in the muscles, and that hold, time. And of course, as with any yoga practice, the breath. Let's hang out in this pose just for a little bit longer. And in these final moments in the pose, we feel how the pose feels. Sounds weird. Feel the pose and feel how different it feels from the beginning of the pose. Feel the changes in the sensations. Normally, at the end of the pose, it will feel more intense than at the beginning. But notice where those sensations are, what parts of the body you feel them. Feel them in the buttocks, thighs. And feel those exhales, kind of softening your body further, drawing your body deeper into the pose, deeper into stillness, deeper also in the sense of being closer to the ground. Let's release ourselves slowly from the pose. Walk your hands forward, side, just taking the props out, keeping the hips where they are. You just want to come to a wide knee child's pose. Let the chest sink down to the ground. Release the forehead down. And just lie still for a minute. This is our resting pose. We'll just take a breath. Feel how the hips and thighs feel after you've taken a lot of the pressure off of them. Breathe, relax, and rest. Come up slowly, pressing down through your palms, pushing the floor away from you. Slide or release the legs from underneath you and slide them forward. And shake them out. Continue to shake out the legs. These next few poses will be seated poses, and I'll guide you through a series of them. And we'll start with one of the most basic yin poses, which we call the butterfly pose. So bring the soles of the feet together and just let the outer edges touch. The rest of the soles will tend to open up like a book. We like to bring the butt cheeks out to the side because this connects us more firmly to the earth. Take a breath. And as you inhale, lengthen up the spine, lift it up towards the ceiling, and on the exhale, move forward, lean forward from the hips. Let's see that from the side. Lengthening as you inhale, exhale, come forward. Go to where you feel that initial resistance from the body. So sometimes, for some people, it's right here or right here. For others, it may be a little further, but what matters is actually the sensations you feel in the hips, the thighs, and spine. So as long as you're feeling some sensation in these areas, then you're good to go. You're doing the pose. So after you come to your edge, slowly relax the body, relax the torso, let the spine round. Allow the head to drop. Relax your arms. I like to bring them forward and out. Now, if you need some support for your head, you can take a block or a book and rest your head down on that block or book. Or if you don't have a prop, you can just rest your chin on your hands like so. If you need a little height, you can get your pillow, and that adds an inch or two. Settle in and come to stillness here. Feel the sensations that this pose brings to you. Let the shoulders relax. Let the spine relax. Feel it rounding, sinking. Let the thighs relax. Let your body sink naturally, effortlessly. Allow time and gravity to do all the work. Notice the sensations here in the hips, back of the hips, inner thighs, along the spine. And take note not just of the physical sensations, the stretchiness or the points of pressure, but notice also the emotional reactions that you may have to the pose. As we open up certain parts of the body, some types of energies may be released, some emotions may be unlocked. So just be aware of these things as they happen. Notice also how you are responding to the stillness. Notice your reaction to the silence. And after some time, you will feel a little uncomfortable as the pose intensifies, as the sensations increase. Stay calm. Keep breathing through the intensity as long as you're able still to relax and breathe slowly. Just stay in the pose. The only reasons to exit the pose would be when you feel anything sharp or when the pose reaches a point where the sensations are too much that you can't relax anymore. Breathe and coexist with whatever discomfort you're And please slowly come up from the pose, moving in slow motion. We set the props aside, bring the knees up, and just feel the relief in your body as that happens. Let's lean back a little bit. Squeeze the shoulder blades together so the chest moves forward. Drop the head back. Take a breath. And come up once again. Bring the feet a little bit away or a lot away from each other. And we'll just do a pose, counter pose called windshield wipers. So these counter poses are usually yang poses, short bursts of small movements. And we just use this counter pose as a way to release whatever sensations there are or to give certain parts of the body a little massage, and it feels good. Knees back up now, and we'll bring the legs out, moving the legs away from each other, a little bit to the side, and notice how the hamstrings feel. Keep the spine vertical, and if this limits the way that you can move forward, you can introduce a bend in the legs by bringing a prop under the thighs or knees. So if the hamstrings feel too tight and you're stuck, you can't even go forward too much, take those blocks, bend the blocks naturally, bend the legs a little bit, and as always, maintain the softness in those muscles, keep them relaxed and soft. Even the toes are relaxed and soft, they're not pointed or flexed. We'll prepare for the next pose. Butt cheeks out, lengthen the spine here, inhale. And as you exhale, come forward, find your body's edge. And once you get to that point of initial resistance, hang in there, begin to relax and surrender the torso down, arms down, soft arms. And again, if you need support for your head, you can just use your arms. Or if you want to, extend that stretch all through the spine, including the back of the neck. Just let the head drop. You'll hang on to your for a bit. So notice the sensations here. Stay and breathe through them. A lot of sensations at the back of the thighs and legs. Some sensations in the inner thighs. Sensations at the back of the hips and along the back muscles. Keep breathing. Feel how the body naturally softens and seems to melt closer to the ground. And the more it softens and melts, the more sensations you feel. Again, keep breathing, keep that breath relaxed and slow. And this helps you stay in the pose and stay relaxed while in the pose. Notice if there's any part of your body that tenses up or clenches in and take a breath and release those parts. Relinquish the desire for control and just surrender your body to gravity. Observe the sensations, let them intensify. Notice how you respond. Take note of any visceral reactions you may have. And we'll release slowly from the pose, pressing through the palms, walking them back towards you, all the way up. Take a breath, back to center, and let's do little asymmetrical variations of this pose. Let's twist to the right side, twisting the spine, inhaling, exhaling, coming to the edge of your twist, and release just a little bit so that you're facing your right leg. Take a breath, and as you exhale, slowly fold over that right leg, keeping the left hip down. Do that from front view, twist, release, and fold over the right leg. Relax your arms. Find support where you need it. And we'll just stay a couple of minutes to begin. Feel the sensations here. Left hip stays grounded. Come to stillness. Stay with your breath. Feel those inhales expanding the ribs, pushing the ribs out. Feel those exhales melting your body a little further, letting you sink a little deeper. Feel the sensations here and breathe through those sensations. Stay relaxed and calm. Stay with the breath. Stay in control of that breath. Keep it slow. Keep it steady and deep. Release slowly back up to center. Inhale. Exhale. To the other side, twisting towards the left side. Inhaling, exhaling into the twist, coming to the edge, and release just a little bit. And we'll fold over the left leg this time. Keep the right hip down. Right hip stays grounded. Right leg stays grounded. Release. Fold over the left leg. The spine will still tend to round. Let it round. Release that and let it drop. Or you may find support for your head, either with your arms or hands or with an external prop. Stay and breathe in this pose for another minute or two. Actually, more like two. Notice the sensations here on the opposite side of the body. Hamstring stretch on the left side. Feel slight side stretch on the right side. Feel that pulling sensation from your right hip to your right shoulder. And continue to feel that connection to the earth through your hips. Just let your body sink and fall gently towards the ground. Your body will, at some point, open up. Your body will invite you deeper into the pose. All you have to do is to accept that invitation and surrender to gravity. Come up slowly from your pose. Come back to center. Remove any props here. And let's do another round of windshield wipers. Hands behind the hips, bent knees, feet away from each other, and we'll just move the knees side to side. Let's bring the knees back up. Let's do a round of dragon pose. Let's come to our hands and knees. Palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Let's step the right foot forward between the hands. So bring the right foot right in this spot. Step the right foot there. Bring the right knee on top of that right ankle. And so as you can see, my hands, my arms are feeling kind of short. So I usually need some support from my blocks here. Keep this alignment in that front leg and slide this back leg as far back as it'll go while keeping the right knee where it is. So slide that left leg back and stay here. Let's just give it a minute to begin because this pose feels quite intense. So if this is your first time, a minute may seem like forever. So let's keep it at a minute. But as you grow in the practice, you can go for 2 minutes, hold, pose for a little longer. Breathe and notice what's happening in the hips. If your buttocks kind of squeeze in here, or if your thighs seem to tense up and do like a isometric contraction, take a breath and soften the thighs, soften the buttocks. And with this softening, feel the hips sinking down a little more. One more breath. And exhale. That's it. That's a minute. Release from the pose slowly by doing everything in reverse, nudging that back leg forward just a bit so you have more room to maneuver. Slide the right leg back, hips back. Let's rest in child's pose just for a few breaths. So while in child's pose, you can rest on a surface or rest your head on a surface. It can be on a block or a book. If your head feels like it's so far away from the earth, or you can use your forearms or hands as a pillow, or if you can manage it, or if this is accessible, you can just rest your head all the way down to the ground. Choose a variation wherein you can just relax and surrender and breathe. Right. Let's do the other side. Come back to tabletop. Left foot forward this time, right between the hands. Help it in, wiggle it in if it needs some help. Left knee on top of that left ankle. Use your props. And we'll bring the right leg to the back. Tuck the right toes in, lift and slide the right knee as far back as it'll go. And once you get into position, relax the hips, the buttocks, the thighs. It's just for a minute, so let those sensations come. It's going to feel quite intense. You'll feel an intense hip flexor stretch in the right side this time. Some compression in the left hip. Breathe, settle in. Feel those hips continuing to sink down. Stay calm, don't panic, keep breathing. Feel the intensity of those sensations and just accept them, embrace them. Embrace the sweet pain. Another breath. And the hips sink a little more. Another breath, and the hips sink further. And release. Back. Adjust the back leg forward. Slide the front leg back. Let's come back to our resting pose. Rest pose now. Take a few breaths here. So notice that sense of release in the hips during this resting pose. Breathe. Feel that sense of openness and looseness in the hips. Come up. Slide the legs forward. Prepare to recline. Bring the hips to the center of the mat, just so you have space behind you to lie back. Shoulders or chin in, knees in. Round the spine, roll yourself down slowly. Take a breath here. At this point, you may need your props, so grab your book. So I like to use, for this pose, I like to use something that's firmer than a pillow. But if you have no other choice, then a pillow will do. So grab your book or your pillow, lift the hips up slightly, and bring the book or the prop under the fleshiest part of the buttocks. Now you can stay here with the knees bent, or you can go ahead and extend the legs all the way down. Relax. Let the shoulders sink. Let the legs sink. And at some point you will feel that gentle compression in the lower back, right here in your lumbar spine. Feel that sensation, just give into it. You'll also feel more of that lengthening, stretching sensation along the front plane of your body, from the belly to the front of the hips to the front of the thighs. Just breathe here. Let yourself sink. Feel all those juicy sensations. After all those seated forward folds, we're now doing a back bend. We're bringing some compression to the lumbar spine. That sensation in the lumbar spine may start out pretty mild, or you may begin with not feeling much at all. But as we stay in this pose, as you can continue to relax and sink into this pose, that sensation will increase. And just keep breathing through that sensation. Let it build up and stay relaxed all throughout. Soft hips, soft legs and arms. Stay here for a little longer. Slowly and carefully release ourselves from the pose, bending one leg at a time, bringing the soles of the feet back flat on the floor. And with this purchase, we can easily push the hips up, lifting the hips away from whatever prop you're using, and slide the prop out and push it to the side. Release the hips back all the way to the ground. Take a breath, maybe two. And whenever you're ready, draw the knees to the chest. Hug them in for a bit. This brings some decompression to those areas of compression in the pose. So notice how this pose lifts the lower part of the spine up off of the mat, tailbone and sacrum up, and it brings a little roundness to the lumbar area, giving you some decompression. Stay here for a few more breaths. Slow breath. Release the knees, let the feet touch back down to the mat. We'll do some twists now. Open your arms out slightly. Just as long as there's room between your arms and the sides of your body, you're good to go. Shoulders feel relaxed and sinking down to the ground. Let's shift the hips a little bit to the right side of the mat. Just a little bit, keeping the feet where they are. Let's cross the right thigh over the left, and we'll lower the thighs down to the left side, inner edge of your right foot, landing on the ground. Shoulders stay down, forehead faces the ceiling. We'll hang out here for a couple of minutes. This pose feels good, huh? Relax and enjoy this pose. Feel the way it stretches out the sides of the body. Feel the way it lengthens out the outer hips and outer thighs. Feel how it squeezes in the belly. And just be still. Allow the pose to naturally deepen with time. Feel through the body. Feel through the inner landscapes of your emotions and thoughts. Acknowledging whatever reactions you may have to the practice in general or to certain elements of it, whether it be the poses or the long holds or the breath or maybe the silence and the act of consciously, mindfully releasing and relaxing all those muscles that you would normally contract during exercise. Keep breathing slow, steady breaths, feeling each inhale inhale, nourishing you, feeling each exhale, purging and cleansing you from within. Release slowly from the twist, bringing the knees and thighs up, back to center. Hips back to center. Come back to neutral. Let's do the other side. Arms open. Hips a little bit to the left side of the mat. Left thigh crossing over the right. Release there. The thighs and hips to the right side. Inner edge of the left foot. Touching, pressing into the earth. And let's hang out here. Find your stillness. Stay another couple of minutes here. Enjoy the pose. Keep breathing. Surrender the body. Let it fall and sink however it may sink. Almost there. Keep breathing. Release from the twist. Hips back to